Happy Wednesday, everybody.
Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, everybody. How's it going, Angelica?
Good. Thank you to all our viewers who are liking, subscribing, commenting, and sharing our channel. We really greatly appreciate it. So huge shout outs to our new subscribers. Thank you for all your support. We greatly love you.
Yes, we do. So why don't you tell us what's happening now?
Yes. So right now in San Diego County, we are seeing a good thing for sellers, 1.5% increase in home values.
Nice.
Good news. The not so good news is that we are waiting 50% longer than what it took to sell your property like it was last year. So what that means for all of our sellers out here that are watching is that typically contract to close is within 30 days. We're now seeing contract to close within 60 days. So what that means for homeowners right now is you're definitely still seeing that appreciation and that uptick in home values. However, it's just taking a little bit longer than what we might be used to.
Question on that.
Yeah.
Because I hear this, right? Mostly from professionals in our industry. How many properties are lasting longer because they were priced too high? And then we see adjustments, and then once they're adjusted properly, we see more action as far as buyers, and then they get into the market. What percentage you would say, I don't know if you know the number or what the number is, are homes that are priced too high and that's why they're in the market for a longer period of time?
That's a great question. So I want to talk about the mentality of that because a lot of homeowners who price it too high and make that price adjustment is because they're still in that mentality of COVID. Now, during the COVID market, I don't know if you remember, but I mean, properties were priced very high because they didn't think that people were actually going to, still go out there and buy, right? There was actually a scarcity. And during that time, we were all supposed to stay locked up in our rooms, not go out anywhere, put a mask, put a shield, wear gloves, have hand sanitation.
Buy extra toilet paper.
Exactly. Everybody was afraid to have that human-to-human contact. So what happened during that time? Home values increased for the people who were actually buying out there, had a low interest rate, anywhere between 2-3%.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, is that a fantasy world in this time?
Right now.
But what we're looking at right now is we have to educate the homeowner that we're in a different time. We just entered this Middle East battle, if you will. Who knows when that's going to end? We're not in COVID anymore. We're looking at inflation and gas prices. On Monday, you shared with us so many statistics on gold, the 10-year treasury, and so on and so forth of what's happening at grocery stores, gas stations, you name it. Everybody can feel it right now, but we're not fighting a disease here. We're fighting a war.
Yeah.
Now, with that being said, homeowners have to think strategically. How am I going to put my property on the market competitively priced compared to the other property that's been sitting on the sidelines for 60 days now? What are we going to do? So what's important is to sit down with a licensed real estate professional, actually go over what are your goals? When are you trying to move? What are you trying to strive for? A real estate professional is not just there to sell your home. They're there to actually help you achieve the goals that you're striving for. So if you're looking to move to Texas, if you're looking to relocate, did you have a grandbaby? Are you looking to retire on the East Coast because that's where you're from? Whatever the goal is, we're not here to just sell your home for the commission. We're here to help you achieve your dreams. And that's the segue that I would like to educate our viewers, especially homeowners, to understand that we're not here looking at the numbers. We're here to actually have care and love for our people. And that's what we talk about all the time.
Yeah. And I think something that I've seen as a strategy, and I don't even know if it's really a strategy, I think it's just, we look at it as a strategy, is when homeowners put their home for less than what the average, so let's say the home is worth 900,000 and listed for 875 to pull and draw more people. And they actually pull and draw more people and the home ends up selling for 9 something.
Absolutely.
Right?
Well, let's talk about that strategy. Now, you have 2 parts of the spectrum. We have 2 parts of the spectrum. We have highly motivated people and not so motivated people. But you have the highly motivated sellers and the not so highly motivated sellers. Now, that is going to determine how to place your property on the market.
Okay.
Because positioning is extremely critical, especially when you're talking about $1 million homes. So if I have a seller who, let's just say, for example, doesn't want to actually sell until September and is afraid about going onto the market or wants to wait until then, as a real estate professional, from my personal experience, what I would suggest, and it's always up to the client, what I would suggest is put it on the MLS anyways. The reason why is because we are seeing a cool down in the market. Properties are sitting on the market for a lot longer. So what I would suggest professionally, and this is just my opinion, is to market a little bit higher and strategically and incrementally decrease over time until we get that set goal of September. Yeah. Now, on the other side of the spectrum, if you're looking at a very highly distressed, motivated seller who absolutely has to sell right now, professional experience, I would suggest marketing it below fair market value so that way we can increase and garner buyers and hopefully get that bidding war that everybody expects to have.
That completely makes sense to me. How do you take, because it's such an emotional thing. I know when I sold, you always want to believe your home is worth more than it truly is, right? Like, yes. Here's like what homes are selling around your area for. So this is what your home is worth. No, but my home is better. I have this, I have that. And at the end of the day, appraisers don't look at that. They go measure square footage, condition, and they give it a value, right? And the value is set by the recent sales in your area that are similar to your home. So how do you get the emotional part out of the transaction? Is it impossible?
I love this. Yes. No, this is the reason why I absolutely love what I do. I love educating my consumers because of that right there. Real estate is a very emotional process. This is not something for someone, and I hate to say this because I was once a brand new agent and I understand the struggle. But what I can understand now, I've been in this industry for over 12 years now, and I have seen how I've progressed with my listing presentations time over time because every experience is so different. I've never met a client who had the same exact journey as my previous listing that I just sold in 10 days or less. Everybody has their own fingerprint of livelihoods. And with that comes with the need to sell because of these goals. So just like what we do when we sit down with first-time home buyers and we provide a financial diagnostic of where they're at and how we can tailor a strategy that best suits them in order to win that property, it's the same exact thing on a listing presentation. I ask the right questions. Why are you selling? When do you have to sell by? Where do you have to go? And why? Because from there, I've created a scale that measures, depending on their motivation level and where they're trying to go. I'm like a doctor. I have different tools and resources that are going to help me surgically understand and discover what exactly is that problem. Because in real estate, it might sound easy. And some people might think that we're overpaid. But truly, what we have as real estate professionals in this industry is our value proposition. And what we have to bring to that table is an understanding of how to diagnose you and provide you a real estate solution. Now, with that being said, when I sit down with my sellers and I say, you know what, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I understand you put a lot of work into this. I can see the beautiful details that you really took the time to actually polish and appeal to your livelihood. That's beautiful. I like to empathize with my clients, help them understand that all of their hard work and sweat equity is not going to go to waste. And so what's important is to show that I really, truly care.
Yeah.
I can empathize with their feelings. I know how it feels to put so much work into something and then leave it behind. In the next chapter, for sellers is a new beginning. And I like to emphasize in celebrating that new journey in real estate. Mm-hmm. So having to take a look at what they currently own and actually help them understand that what they brought to value in their home is not going to be wasted, but is actually going to be cherished by a new homeowner. That right there is where I excel at. And I think what's important, especially for new real estate agents who are looking to get licensed, who are going to go on to a $1 million listing or a $100,000 listing, the key factor here is to respect every client as if they're, the greatest gift on earth.
Yeah.
Because everybody deserves respect. And what's important is to help them understand that no matter what their choice is, that you're there as their advocate, as a representative to represent their best interest at hand. And that's truly why we get paid the commission that we do, because we're constantly negotiating, whether it's negotiating with our client, negotiating with the other agent on the other side of the transaction, and what have you. It's our job as real estate professionals to do all of the heavy lifting for them and provide them the smoothest transaction possible. And that's how we get repeat clients and referrals all around the world.
I love it. This is not transactional, right? This is all about building relationships. And we keep saying that because it's truly how we feel. Every single client's very unique. They have their own roadmap. And we're wanting to integrate and be part of that as an advisor. So very good information.
Absolutely. And here's another thing that I would like to add. For homeowners, the biggest concern to them is, how much money do I get to keep?
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
It's always going to be coming down to the money.
Right. Yep.
Now, I don't know about you, but I've had this definite paradigm shift on my own money message, where I truly believe that money is used as a vehicle to get you from point A to Z. Now, with that being said, this is why I really like to focus on the dreams and aspirations of my clients. Because regardless of how much money is going to be put into your pocket, it's the goal that I'm striving for. Sometimes you can't put a price tag on happiness. I'm sure everybody can agree with me on that here. But it does get you a little bit closer to where you're striving for. So I think another step even further into my diagnosis and sitting down with sellers is really understanding their heart. I think that's really, truly important, because I did a study here, and I've been doing a lot of frequency therapy, and I hate to bring in my personal livelihood here, but I actually found neurology that our brain is really dictated by our heart and how we feel and these emotions and everything. And we always say that real estate is not transactional. It's all about relationships, although transactional plays the part, right?
Yeah, of course.
But I always like to leave my clients feeling a lot better than when I entered the room. or whenever we had the meeting.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important because you can work with a real estate professional who's all about the numbers, who's driven, who's going to get you exactly what you wanted and do everything that you say and is your yes man, which is great. But at the end of the day, if you're feeling like you just got scammed, that you were taken advantage of, or that he didn't really care about you and you're not going to call him again or give him any more referrals, did he really do his job? So for me, I want to work with people who want to work with me and who's not just after the money. So what's happening right now in the market with this cool down are a lot of builders coming in because San Diego County has eased up a little bit on their lot sizes and are granting permits for new home builders to build duplexes, triplexes, or three-story townhomes and what have you. Because of those, we have a neighborhood push for equal housing opportunities right now. And so we're seeing anywhere between $600,000 to $700,000 as the median price point for first-time home buyers. And what this is doing to homeowners who are sitting on home prices around $950,000 is they're competing against new builds. So Ruben, I kind of wanted to shift this back to you now. What is the annual household income for people who can afford a $950,000 home versus a $700,000 home for first-time home buyers who are looking to enter this market?
Yeah, this is great. You know that we do need more affordable housing for sure, right? With prices being so high, I'm glad these initiatives are happening. Hopefully they drive them through and they actually happen and meet, like faster they can happen, the more people they can get into housing. It's great. And I'm glad that there's more construction going on and more builders interested in doing this here in San Diego. But to answer your question, assuming the client has no debt, that the only debt they're going to have will be the mortgage payment. And just to clarify, the mortgage payment is principal, interest, property taxes, insurance, and PMI. Now, in some scenarios, you have HOA or Melrose. So if you're buying a home at $700,000, your household income needs to be gross income needs to be approximately $120,000, okay? Or higher, of course, but that's minimum. If you're buying something at $1 million with 10% down, your household income needs to be at a minimum $175,000 using the same format: principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, and having no additional debt, just the mortgage payment.
So what I'm hearing you say is there's a $50,000 gap in salary between a $700,000 home and a $1 million home.
Yes, that's what it comes out to.
$50,000. Oh my gosh. In San Diego County, we're looking at a city of professionals here.
Yeah, but you know, the data based on the census says that in San Diego, the median household income, it's $102,000 a year, believe it or not.
Wow.
That's the majority of the people that are renting because they can't afford to buy. That's why bringing affordable housing is so important, because some of these people are professionals.
Yeah.
But they're just, maybe they have a household and maybe one professional making $80,000 and the other professional making $40,000 or less, right? So you, in a perfect household income where they both make $100,000, you're at $200,000. It works. And we have a lot of those folks. We have folks making $250,000 by themselves.
So let me ask you this. Given that the median household income right now is around $102,000,
Yeah.
how can we position them to enter the real estate market?
That's a great question. We need affordable housing, or they need to buy here. And we were talking about this previously, people wanting to buy their dream home the first time around as a first-time home buyer. And that is just not a very realistic scenario for most first-time home buyers. I'm not here to crush anybody's dream. I mean, but the reality is in San Diego with how, what is the median price range right now on a house?
$950,000 for a single family detached.
Okay, so you have to make $175,000 to afford that, right? And most the medium household income in San Diego is 102. So we know all those people can't afford the prices.
Right.
So you're not going to go into a home immediately that is your dream home. You need to think about this and think about taking baby steps before you run. And the first step is getting yourself into a condo, realistically, an apartment condo. Why? Because that's going to be in that price range. You possibly can get yourself below $500,000 if you can still find condos, right, in that range. And that will allow you to get in. And we can talk about building equity and taking the steps as your income grows down the road. At least you're not paying somebody else's rent. You're paying your own mortgage. There's so many benefits to that. We truly believe that being a homeowner for most people makes sense. Some people maybe not. The majority, if you're renting, you should probably think about homeownership.
Absolutely. It's always a long-term,
Yes.
the long-term gain. Now, I want to also talk about how this also affects homeowners and why it's a lot cooler than it was last year. And it's because of that. So given that $950,000 right now is for people who are making $175,000 annually as a household income, and the average household income is $102,000, I think we're also seeing a gap is even widening between that. I mean, what do you think?
No, I agree. You cannot keep up your salary. Your wages cannot keep up with the cost of home ownership. They just can't. You know, home ownership during COVID grew 30%, 40%. I wish I can get a salary increase of 30%, 40% in a couple of years. It just doesn't happen. Most people working a W-2 job are getting 2 to 3% annual increases. So you can't even keep up with the prices of homes. Yeah, so the gap just keeps widening.
Especially with inflation, gas
On top of
prices,
that,
grocery, eggs. I mean, I went to the grocery store and it was like $20 for a dozen. Can you believe that?
No, I can't.
I think what we really have to focus on right now is helping the first-time home buyer really understand that it's okay to get into a condo.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with getting into a home that's $700,000 and below. It's really the long-term vision here. And I think I am a true advocate for helping those first-time home buyers, especially our military troops. Thank you again for your service out there.
Thank you.
And, you know, that's what's happening right now in today's market.
Well, thank you for the update. And hey, everyone, again, thank you for listening. Please share our video, like us. And if you have any comments, let us know. We're here really for you guys.
Thank you, everyone. Happy Wednesday.